Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So what we have done yesterday is we have analyzed the equilibrium in the short run, in which we saw that a producer in the short run can make your supernormal profit, normal profit, and losses. This is what we have done yesterday. This is from 1, 2, and 3. And in the first case, we saw that this producer was making supernormal profit. You need not draw. You already have done it. So this producer was making more than normal profit. The second producer was making just normal profit. Okay, so this was your MC. And the third producer was making losses. You can just know that the cost curve is rising. Your P is same. When I say when your price becomes equal to your minimum average variable cost, that does not mean that the price has come down, but rather the cost have increased. Okay, so you can see the cost rising. The producer which is most efficient will have the least average cost of production, your firm one. And the producer which is inefficient producer will obviously make losses, and that means they have a very high cost of production. Okay, so this is a case where the producers are in equilibrium. Some producers are making more than normal profit, that's a equilibrium position. Some are making normal profit, equilibrium position. Some are making losses. Okay, but the industry is not in equilibrium. So each producer is in some type of stable equilibrium, but the industry is not in equilibrium. The industry will be in equilibrium when all these cases will be cancelled. That means if the some producer are making losses, then what will happen? You know, there is free entry and exit. So under perfect competition, there is an assumption of free entry and exit. That means those loss-making units which are not able to survive in the industry, they will leave. They will leave the industry, quit the industry anytime. That means the supply will be reduced, price will be at normal level. Similarly, if there are more than profit making unit, new producer will rush into the market and start their production. In this way, the supply will be increased and the price will be at normal level. So under the features of perfect competition, any deviation from this normal price will again and again bring the price back to normal. This is what we are going to analyze today. So we'll do long run equilibrium under perfect competition. Right, long run equilibrium under perfect competition. In this you write, in the long run the industry will be in equilibrium. In the long run the industry will be in equilibrium when all the firms firms means the producers, when all the firms working under it, when all the firms working under it just makes normal profit, just makes normal profit at the prevailing price level, just makes normal profit at the prevailing price level. Full stop. Any deviation from the normal price, any deviation from the normal price will generate forces, means will create the conditions, okay, will generate forces which will reverse the price back to equilibrium, will generate forces which will reverse the price back to equilibrium. So we'll see this with a diagram. Whatever you have written, we'll observe this with a diagram. Okay. So you can do the diagram with me.
Which will?
We'll reverse the price, which will reverse the price back to equilibrium. Which will reverse the price back to equilibrium.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see this with a diagram here. Okay, so you will do the diagram along with me. There's no calculation. Keep your concept clear while drawing the diagram movement. Your diagram will come clear. So we'll do two diagrams side by side. So one is, this is your price against output. Same here, price against output. So here industry is in equilibrium. Industry will be in equilibrium, which sets the equilibrium price and quantity. This is P, this is Q. Okay. At this price, I have drawn only one diagram for all the firms, because now I said all the firms will be making normal profit. So only one diagram will be representing all the producers. There are three different levels, because some were making losses, some were making profit, but here every producer will make normal profit. This is just in conceptual, because very difficult to achieve, and even if achieve, it is very short period of time. So this is just a conceptual, that all the producer will be in just making normal profit, conceptual long run equilibrium. So this is the long run cost curve. So that's I'm writing LSC, same SC curve, but in the long run, that's why LSC I've written. Then this is the marginal cost, LMC, equilibrium, and this is the quantity. So every producer is selling OQ amount of quantity. Now we'll show that any deviation from this normal price OP will generate forces. The perfect competition market has such type of features that it will generate forces which will again and again bring the price back to equilibrium. This is what we are going to observe here. Have you drawn the diagram till here? So that you can follow what I do next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so remember at this point every...
No, I'm drawing.
Okay, complete it and let me know. So you can see at this point every producer is making just normal profit. Okay, because your total area, TR area is equal to TC area. You know the concept of normal profit. We have done the second diagram yesterday. This is for the whole industry. This is for every producer under that industry. Completed? Can we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now suppose the demand is increasing in the market. Suppose the demand is now D1. No calculation. Simply you know your rightward movement is your increase in demand. You do, your diagram will come by itself. So you make a rightward shift in your demand curve. Suppose the demand has increased in the market. So if you draw the line to the price axis, you can see the price has increased in the market. So now the price is P1. Now if the price is P1, you extend that price to the other diagram. You see at P1, the price is more than your average cost. That means your average cost has gone below the price. That means your P is now greater than average cost. And I said there will be profit. So now many producers will be earning supernormal profit, more than normal profit. So they will be forced to, will be making supernormal profit. That means this will attract new producers into the market. New producer will enter the market because the existing producer are making more than normal profit. Now this will increase the supply. So your supply will increase. Now you see the point where this P line, this straight line is intersecting the D curve, D1 curve. See here, this point. Simply make your supply move through that point. So your supply has increased, which is your S1. Your new equilibrium is E1 and the new quantity is Q1. And because of an increase in supply, you can see your price has come back to equilibrium. So your equilibrium moves to E1, where the quantity has increased to Q1. Because of an increase in quantity, there will be fall in price, which is your back to P level. So this is your E1 new equilibrium, where the quantity has increased to Q1. Done, everyone? Now let us take a reverse case. Suppose demand falls in the market, D2. Just make a leftward movement. Your diagram will come by itself. No calculation. So if your demand curve moves to the leftward movement, so it is a decrease in demand. Now you see it is intersecting the supply, old supply curve, previous supply curve at P2. So price is now P2. That means price has fallen in the market. So if you extend that price to the other diagram, at P2, many producer will be making losses. So many producer will be making losses. Many producers will be making losses. So they will be forced to quit the industry. Okay, now you see that point where this D2 curve is intersecting this line. So they will be forced to quit the industry means the supply will be reduced. So your new supply curve will be S2, equilibrium at E2. The quantity has fallen to Q2. So quantity has fallen to Q2 means price has, you can see at E2, your price has again got back to equilibrium. So supply is reduced, your price goes back to equilibrium. So it shows that any deviation from the equilibrium price has features. The feature of the market is such that it will again and again bring it back to equilibrium. Okay. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First we'll write, I'll just make you write for increase in demand. You can leave space and write for the other part. Okay. Right? If the demand increases in the market, if the demand increases in the market, I repeat, if the demand increases in the market, comma, the price will go above equilibrium. The price will go above equilibrium, comma, where many producers will make more than normal profit, where many producers will make more than normal profit, full stop. This will attract new producers into the market. This will attract new producers into the market, which will decrease the price, or you can add, this will attract new producers into the market, comma, which will increase the supply, which will increase the supply and reverse the price back to equilibrium. And reverse the price back to equilibrium. Done?
Yes.
Okay. And you can write for a decrease in demand. If the demand decrease in the market, how the chain reaction will follow? You will write by yourself so that you remember. Okay. These are all theory questions asked to you. So the market feature is such that it will again and again reverse the price back to equilibrium. This is about the theory part of your market. We'll do the monopoly market, but after the numericals. Now we'll start the numerical. See the PDF I've sent to you, or you can just have a look from here only. I didn't send you the PDF. No. Okay, I've sent you the PDF. You can see from there, or you can see from here also. So we'll solve this question. Total cost is given as 5Q. Then demand function is given as Q equal to 53 minus P. Okay, you have to find the output. Find the output at the point of maximum profit. At point of maximum profit. Let us find. Tell me how profit will be calculated. How is profit calculated? How is profit calculated? What is the formula?
Ma'am, TR minus TC.
TR minus TC. Okay, yes. So your profit is TR minus TC. You already have the TC here, but this is your demand function. Remember, it is your AR function. So you have to get the TR. Okay, your TR is your price into quantity. So first change this, make it P equal to 53 minus Q. Make it in terms of P variable so that you have the Q on the other side. Then get your TR. What is your TR? Your price into quantity. So it is your 53Q minus Q square. So get your pi function, which is your TR minus TC. Then maximize your pi function with respect to output. Tell me what is the output. This is for maximum. You are taking the first derivative equal to 0. Quickly do. Do TR minus TC. Did everyone?
Ma'am, Q equals to 24.
24. So it is your 53Q minus Q square minus your cost is 5Q is your pi function. If you do d pi by dq, you get Q equal to 24 units of output. So the output at the point of maximum profit is 24. Hopefully everyone has got it.
Yes.
Okay, we go to the second question. Second question is here you have given the demand function and then you got the TR, but in the second question directly you are given TC and TR. You can solve directly. So your total revenue TR is given as 200Q minus 0.1 Q square. Your TC is given as 50Q plus 20,000. Remember, you can solve this question or the previous question also. You can solve it by two approaches. One is your MCMR approach, because you know your profit is maximum where your MC is equal to MR. If you simply do MC is equal to MR, you will get your answer even in the first question where you got Q equal to 24. Second is your profit approach. This is known as the marginal approach. Marginal approach where you are doing MC is equal to MR, and you can also use the profit approach. Profit approach means which you did in the first question. You simply maximize your profit function. You get your answer. Both way are the same. This is point of maximum profit where your profit is you are using revenue, total revenue and total cost approach. Okay, this is known as the profit approach. So in this question you can use anything you like, MC is equal to MR or this, but actually you are asked to find, number one you will find the output at maximum profit, output at maximum profit. Also you have to find the maximum profit. Okay, also find the maximum profit. That means at that point what is the profit you will find. So because you have to find the profit, better use the profit approach because you need the pie curve. Otherwise, if only this first question, you can use the MCMR approach. So tell me, calculate same way. You know your profit is TR minus TC, then maximize the profit function. Tell me the output.
Ma'am, Q is equal to 750.
No, not 750. 1 0 missing. Why? 1 0 is missing.
Ma'am, it's coming 750 only.
No. I've written the question correctly. 200Q minus 0.1 Q square, 50Q plus 20,000. Why? Anyone else have got this?
Ma'am, actually TR is 200Q minus 0.01 Q square, ma'am. I saw just now,
Yeah,
ma'am, in
yeah,
the PDF.
that's why. Correct. That's why. Very good. That's why Aisha has got 750. Now it will be what? Your Q will be? It is 0.01 Q square. Correct.
So, ma'am, it will be 7500.
7500.
Yes, ma'am.
Units
Now
of
it's
output.
coming.
Yes. I had written the question wrongly. So 7500 units of output. Now simply put it in your profit function. and you will get the maximum profit. Put it in your pi function and you can calculate how much will be the profit at that point. Tell me the answer. I repeat, your answer is 7500. Then simply put it in the profit function, pi function, and you will get how much is the profit at that point.
Ma'am, 542500.
5,42,500 is the total
Yes, ma'am.
profit at that point. It is the in currency, okay, and this is in output. Everyone has done. Anybody has not got the answer can interrupt. These are the type of market numericals you will get, okay. So, and nothing beyond, nothing beyond this much. If you are clear, this is all that you have to practice. Then we'll go to question number 3. Question number 3 tells that total cost is given as 1/3 q cube minus 2.5 q square plus 6q plus 10. 6q plus 10. You have to find output, find the output q at the shutdown point. Find the output at the shutdown point. How will check the shutdown point? How you are going to check the shutdown point? Either
Ma'am, PV is equals to minimum ABC.
yes, either your price equal to minimum ABC, but no price information is here, or you can also do just minimum ABC, which you can use here, or you can also do MC is equal to ABC. Anything will give you the shutdown point. Okay, because no price information is there, we cannot use this approach. We'll use the other two approach. Minimum ABC or MC is equal to ABC. Now you know how to solve. Remember, this constant is your TFC. 10 is your TFC. So the rest is your TVC. This is your TVC. So first get your ABC from your TVC, TVC by output, and simply minimize the ABC function. You get your answer with del Q equal to 0 for minimum. It is the minimum point of your ABC. That is the shutdown point where the producer has to leave the industry. So if the price falls to the point of minimum ABC, the producer has to leave the industry. So calculate, get the ABC first, minimize the ABC function.
Ma'am, Q is equal to 3.75.
Yeah, very good. Q equal to 3.75 units of output. Anybody who has not got wants us to solve? First do ABC.
What is the value of Q here?
Value of Q, no, you'll get it. If you minimize, you'll get the value of Q, which is 3.75.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
First you get the ABC function, which is simply divide TVC by Q, which is your 1/3 Q square minus 2.5 Q plus 6 you will get. Then just take the derivative. So you'll get 2/3 Q minus this will be what 2.5 equal to 0. Solve it, you will get your answer. 3.75. Done, everyone? We'll go to the last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Question 4 is your TC is given as, see the question in your WhatsApp. So your question is TC is 6,000 plus 400 Q minus 20 Q square plus Q cube, where Q is the output. Q is the output. You have to find, number 1, what is the lowest price? What is the lowest price where the firm will shut down? Where the firm will shut down. So you have to find what is the price at which the firm has to close down, shut down. Second is, if the current price is, if the current market price is 300, if the current market price is 300, question is, should it continue or shut down?
Ma'am, market price is 310.
Continue or shut down. Okay. If the market price is 310, should the firm continue or shut down? So let us start. How to find the price at which the firm will shut down? Remember, your price has to be equal to your minimum AVC for the firm to shut down. Okay. So let us find that price. What you do is, first tell me the output at which the firm will shut down. Same way as you have done in the previous question. First find the
Ma'am?
output at, yes.
Q is equal to 10.
Very good. So first is you got the AVC, so fast, which is your TVC by Q. Then you have minimized the AVC function, which is your, you got equal to 0, that means you got Q equal to 10. Now just put this 10 in your AVC function. You can know how much is the price, because your price has to be equal to your minimum AVC. Now put 10 in your AVC function and check what is the AVC there. That is your minimum
Ma'am,
AVC.
300.
300. So your price, if the price falls to 300, the firm will shut down, because your price has to be equal to minimum AVC for shutdown. So if the price is 300, the firm will shut down. Go to the second question. So first answer is 300. What is the lowest price where the firm will shut down? If the price is 300, the firm will shut down. Second question is, if the market price is 310, should it continue or shut down? If the current price is 310, should it continue or shut down?
It will continue.
Continue. Why? Because you can see your P is greater than minimum AVC, isn't it? Because your
Yes,
P is
ma'am.
greater than minimum AVC. It is greater than minimum AVC means it is covering the variable cost, including some part is also recovering the fixed cost. But if the price is equal to minimum AVC, even variable cost will not be recovered. It has to shut down to make the variable cost 0. So your next answer is the firm can continue because your P is greater than minimum AVC. Okay. So because the price is greater than minimum AVC. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt anyone can ask. Okay. So next what you do is go to the last part, which is your monopoly market. So in terms of imperfect market, we have the monopoly market. So let's go to the monopoly market. We have completed perfect competition. Now we'll do your monopoly market. And if you get any numericals on monopoly market, it will be in same way as you got now. Your TC, TR will be given, simply maximize, your procedure is same. Doesn't matter what type of market they mention. Okay. So we'll go through the features first. So number one is, it has a single seller in the market. And while I tell you the features, you contrast it with your perfect competition, because you always get a question, what is the difference between your perfect competition and monopoly? That is the pattern you get. So it has a single seller in the market. And you know, opposite is, there were many buyers and sellers. You can just contrast. I repeat, number one feature is, it has a single seller in the market. Second feature is, the product sold by a monopolist, the product sold by a monopolist will have no close substitutes, will have no close substitutes. That means no competitor. Okay, no nearby competitor. That's why he is a monopolist. No, because no product close to it. I repeat, the product sold by a monopolist has no close substitutes, which means its cross elasticity which means its cross elasticity with other products, which means its cross elasticity with other products will be very low. Will be very low. What do you mean by cross elasticity? The change in quantity of one due to price of the other. Okay, so substitute means when nearby other competitor is there, but this product does not have any competitor, so it will have very low cross elasticity. Any product which will be very far, so cross elasticity will be very low or even zero. So I repeat, the product sold by a monopolist will have no close substitute, which implies that its cross elasticity with other product will be very low. In contrast, perfect competition, what was the feature? All identical product. Every product was same, homogeneous or identical product. That means every product was a substitute of the other. Okay. So the third feature is there are strong barriers. There are strong barriers to the entry of new firms. There are strong barriers to the entry of new firms into the market. Strong barriers to the entry of new firms into the market. This already had discussed earlier, because a monopolist know that if a new producer will enter, his profit will go away. That's why there are number of strategies, cost strategy, price strategy, your quality strategy, by which he will not allow the new producer to enter the market even. He will create such barriers that new producer will find it very difficult to enter and compete. This is the meaning of strong barriers to entry of new firms into the market. Okay. In contrast, there was free entry and exit. Anytime producer could enter the market, any producer don't like will leave the market. Contrast, perfect competition. But here, very strong barriers to entry of new firms into the market. The fourth feature is as the monopolist has to face the overall demand, as the monopolist has to face the overall demand, he faces the usual downward sloping demand curve. He faces the usual downward sloping demand curve. Okay, so I repeat, as the monopolist is the only seller in the market or has to face the overall demand, he faces the usual downward sloping demand curve. Okay, that means he is the single seller in the market, and we know any product demand curve will be downward sloping. So the demand curve of the monopolist will be downward sloping like this. This is the demand curve or AI curve of the producer output. Okay, so now let us represent his demand function with, say, P equal to A minus Bx. This is your demand equation where A is the intercept, B is the slope, downward sloping slope. Okay, so I write the TR as, so you will have the TR as your price into quantity, which is your AX minus BX square. We will have the MR as your change in TR with respect to quantity, which will be your A minus 2BX. So you can see your demand function slope is minus B, your revenue function slope is minus 2B. So your marginal revenue will have the same intercept but will be twice steeper than his average revenue. Remember there, what was the shape? It was AR equal to MR under perfect competition. This was the contrast. But under this, your AR curve will be this usual demand curve, and your marginal revenue curve will be twice steeper than the AR curve. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If anybody has not done, not understood, can interrupt. Right, the marginal revenue of the monopolist will have the marginal revenue of the monopolist will have the same intercept, but will be twice steeper because slope is -2 double, okay, twice steeper than his average revenue function. Your demand curve is your AR function, all of you know, will be twice steeper than his AR function, average revenue function. Done? We'll go to the fifth feature where you write a monopolist will have no definite supply curve. A monopolist will have no definite supply curve. Okay, so you know how your price and supply is related. This is your price and quantity supplied, and for all market your quantity supplied is upward sloping because as price is more, supply is more. Okay, but for a monopolist will not get any such relation, will not get this relation because there is no definite relation between price and quantity because the whole supply is under his control. He keeps changing the price according to the elasticity of the market. So there is no link between price and quantity because he keeps changing the supply depending on the elasticity to maximize his revenue. I repeat, a monopolist will have no definite supply curve written.
Yes.
Okay, no definite supply curve. This will show with a diagram here. So you have to do the diagram with me. So this is the price against quantity. So I take the demand curve of two market, this is D1 and D2 where the monopolist is selling his product. So D1, D2 may be the demand curve of in two market or maybe demand curve of two consumer, whatever. So can you tell me which demand curve is more inelastic?